at the beginning, as I said, it was a bunch of academics in a room. And that was the board for maybe 5 years or something. And it was a big struggle because it was just a big struggle. And the first building was in Florence, Massachusetts. And what I recall is an unheated building. And we would go for meetings and have our gloves on, and the staff were working with their gloves on and their coats on, and it was, but that was what we could do. And it was just such a struggle. And part of the reason, perhaps, was the composition of the board was not appropriate. I mean, we had to evolve and figure out who should be on the board and how do we raise money. And so I was trying to remember, and I did remember, there were two key people who helped us financially. One was Sidney Berg, who was someone who just called Aaron out of the blue from Long Island and offered him money, and he continued helping us tremendously. He just believed in the project. And the other was a woman named Sonia Staff, who also, these were board members, and they were characters, each of them in different ways. But they just believed in it. And I have to think that as brilliant as Aaron is, and as brilliant as some of the staff were, we were always on the edge. We were in debt. The staff were not being paid for long periods of time. Aaron was, I believe, not getting completely paid. And, we had to be in buildings that did not charge rent because there was no money for rent. I mean, we had a situation once where there was a man and wife whose name I don't remember now, who had pledged a gift of $100,000, and it was like huge. And then the man died, and his wife was not interested, and she reneged on the gift. And this was like, a huge disaster. What are we going to do, And so everything was hand to mouth. And so the places I remember after that, there was the school in Amherst, this school that wasn't being used. And then eventually it was being used, so we had to leave. And then there was the mansion. I don't know if you ever saw the mansion. The mansion was this big yellow house on the Mount Holyoke campus. And I remember that by that time, there was kind of a joke that each of the 5 colleges, none of them very Jewishly oriented, were now in competition for who would host the Yiddish Book Center. And so they had this, they had been small, and then they had all this room, and I think they did have to pay the utilities, so that was a bit of a challenge. But it was this big old mansion on, I think it was on Route 116, and so they were there for quite a while, and so it was quite, and all of that before the building that we're in now.